Dear IELTS test taker, you're welcome to my channel, Language Arts with Star. So today, we're going to take a look at the IELTS reading text. Yes, the IELTS reading test. And we're going to be starting with the format. You know, it's beautiful that you want to write the test, but you need to know what this test is testing you on. I mean, you need to know what this test actually contains. What does it look like? What should you expect? What kind of expectations should you have even as you prepare for your IELTS test? So, the reading test is one aspect of the IELTS test, and in it you have three sections. Three sections, that's to say three passages. You have 40 questions and you're to answer that in 60 minutes. Please take note, you do not have an extra time for transfer. You don't have an extra time to transfer your answer. So you have to be fast and accurate. I tell my students, speed and accuracy is one thing, one mantra that you have to hold on to as you prepare for your IELTS test. So, 40 questions in 60 minutes, no special time for transfer, meaning the time of transfer, reading, and answering your question is embedded in the 60 minutes. You need to take note of that so you can plan accordingly. And then we have the academic or the general training version. Depending on the kind of test you're writing now, it could be academic, it could also be the general one. Then another thing you should pay attention to is that the difficulty level increases from section 1 to 3. What I mean by that is section 1 is difficult, section 2 is more difficult, and section 3 is most difficult. Do you understand? And if you want to do it the other way of saying section 3, it's simple. Section 2 is simpler, and section 1 is the simplest of the sections. The reading test overview. Now that we've spoken about the format of your test, let's talk about the overview of this test. So you have 60 minutes. Tell me, how many questions are you expecting? Anybody? You're expecting 40 questions. Remember, I mentioned it earlier. You're expecting 40 questions. You have three passages, right? And then you have this test ranging from journals, magazines, books, newspapers, and all of that. Then you have general interest topics. That is, the topics are interesting, they are appropriate, and of course, they were, curated, put together to test your knowledge on that particular discourse. Then you have is written in variety of styles, and like that may contain non-verbal material. What we mean by non-verbal material are graphs, pictures, charts, and all of those things that you really do not have to read out. You just see them in pictures and you're expected to interpret them. Now let's take a look at the score sheets. I mean, you're preparing for an examination. You should have a knowledge of what you're aiming for. You should know what you're aiming for. What are you fighting for? What do you intend to come up with after your reading test? So we have for a band 5, anyone who scores between 15, out of 40, we're talking about 40 questions, right? So 15 is a band score of 5, and I would say no, no, no to that. What are you saying to that? No, no, no to that. And then you have the score of 23, you get a 6 band. So if you happen to get 23 questions right out of 40, you're going home with a 6 band. And what do we say to that? We say no, no, no. And then we have a 7 band, which is 30. If you get 30 questions correctly, If you get 20 questions right out of 40, you're going on with 7. And yeah, we can take that. But the most interesting part is the 8th band, which is actually very possible. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of diligence, a lot of, burning the midnight oil. But trust me, it is possible. So if you happen to go home with a 35 out of 40, what you have right there is band 8. And trust me, this is what you should fight for. Fight for a band 8 out of this. Now it's quiz time. I need you to be honest and do this intentionally. Put the whole of your being into doing this. So you're to respond in the comment section below. I want to see your answers in the comment section below. How many passages are in IELTS Academic? Did you do that right? Okay, good. Now let's move on. How to approach the reading test. How to approach the reading test. When you start to read a passage, you should always ask yourself these 3 questions. What am I reading? Why am I reading it? And how will I read it? Remember, I said the IELTS test is a test of speed and accuracy. So, ask yourself these 3 questions. What am I reading? What am I reading? Why am I reading it? And how will I read it? Your question could be asking you to survey. Of course, you survey, you analyze, you return, and you check. You check your answers. Very, very important. You survey the text. You survey the text. The aim is to build up an idea of what the text is all about. So you survey, run your eyes quickly to see what this text is all about. Then you analyze. You have to analyze. Then you return to your passage, answer your questions, and then you check your answers. Very important. So you can imagine if what your text is asking you to look for is maybe forest, then you know that, okay, as you're skimming through, you will see forest, you might see leaves, you might see trees, because you already have an idea by running your eyes through the passage that this is what this passage is about. Reading soft skills. So we have a lot of soft skills in the reading skill, and these soft skills are essential because you're going to need a lot of them. If you spend equal time on every of your section, trust me, you might eventually run out of time and then not be able to accomplish the task that you've been given. So you need to know the skill or the soft skill to actually put in operation as you're going through your sections. So we have the skimming, the scanning, intensive reading, inferential, prediction, deduction. All of these are soft skills that are essential. You must arm yourself with them so that you can scale your reading test. Very important. So, the reading skills. For scanning, you're expected to locate a specific information. So if you're scanning, you are expected to locate a specific information. If you're skimming, you're going through it to get the gist. You just want to get what this thing is about. If you're reading for detail or inference, of course, you will spend more time because you need to understand beyond the surface what this text is all about. Then you're reading to also distinguish opinion from fact. You must be very careful of that. Opinions are not the same as facts, and that can be very confusing at times. So you have to pay attention while you're reading to distinguish between opinions and facts. Now let's do this. Match the skill. Tell me, number one, reading quickly to get the general idea of a passage. What do you say? Leave your answer in the comment section. I will be checking. Number two, searching a text for a specific piece of information like a date, a name, or a number. What are you doing? Which of the soft skill are you employing? Yeah, which one are you employing to actually get this done? Number three, understanding meaning that is implied but not directly stated. Number four, carefully reading to extract precise information from the text. And number five, identifying whether a statement is a fact or someone's personal opinion or view. Did you do that right? Okay, so there you have the answers. Did you get it all right? If you don't worry, just pause the video, go back to that question, and go through them again while you look at your answers. Common question types. Now let's talk about the common question types that you can find or you should expect in your IELTS reading test. So we have the multiple choice, of course, where you have the options and you're told to choose one out of the options. Then you have the matching headings. Matching headings, you're given a passage like a paragraph or two, and then you're given headings and you're told to match the right headings with the appropriate passage. Then we have sentence completion. Here you have more like fill in the gaps. You have gaps and you're expected to fill that up through your knowledge of the text that you read. Then we have true, false, or not given. True, false, or not given. At this junction, I would like to let you know that when you're filling your answer, you can write T, you can write F, and you can write NG to save time. If writing TRUE will take longer, then stick with writing T. But if your T and your F happens to look alike, then I would say to be on the safe side, just say TRUE. Take the time to write it out. Then we have the last one here, summary, diagram labeling, and short answers. Summary, diagram labeling, and short answers. Let's move on. Now, I need you to go through this activity. Be honest, just do it with the whole of your heart because you're learning, and all of these things will eventually come in handy when you're faced with your IELTS reading test. So, number one, choose the best heading for each paragraph from the list below. What do you say? Leave your answer in the comment section. Number two, write no more than 2 words for each answer. Number three, do the following statement agree with the information in the passage? You're expected to write true, false, or not given. Number four, complete the summary using words from the text. Number five, label the diagram using words from the passage. Number six, choose the correct letter A, B, C, or D. And number seven, match the people A to D with the statement 1 to 5. What do you say? So these are the answers of the question that we have in the previous slide. So if you took time to do that, now is the time to score your answers. I hope you did well. If you did not, don't feel bad. This is just a practice. All you need to do is go back, take a look at the questions again, pause it, answer them, and then mark yourself again. Remember, practice, yeah, practice actually helps you get better. So keep doing it, don't stop. Now let's talk about time management tips. My advice from language star, you know, from language arts with star, this is what we advise. Make sure you don't spend more than 20 minutes per section. It could be lesser, but not more. 20 minutes per section. Don't get stuck. Move on, move on, move on, move on, move on. Tell your neighbor, move on. Yes, tell yourself, move on. Don't get stuck, okay? Some questions might be difficult. You might not even get a hang of it. Do not get stuck. Don't dwell on it. Move on. You still have a lot of ground to cover. So move on. Another thing is preview the passage quickly. Preview the passage quickly. And the last one, practice timed tests often. Don't just go out there and say, oh, I'm going to practice my IELTS reading today, and then you're not putting yourself on the clock. You might score everything, but were you on the clock? So, practice timed tests often. Now, let's do this. So, this activity is actually asking you to beat the clock. So, if you're there and you're one of the serious students, then you should put a timer close to you. Just use your phone, put yourself on the clock, and let's see how fast you can read this passage and answer the question in 6 minutes. Can you do that? I believe it's possible. So be intentional and put yourself on the clock, and let's see how far you can go. So for the sake of this video, we're going to move on. But for you, my listener, I would like you to take some time here, take some time, pause it, go through, and be intentional. Just be intentional. Put your question somewhere. You can take a screenshot, put it somewhere, put your passage somewhere, and do that in 6 minutes. Do not cheat the clock and do not cheat yourself. It's going to actually help you to also beat the time on that day. So be faithful and tell me your experience in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. Now, if you did that, here are the answers to the questions. So score yourself and let me know what you got. Now, moving on, skimming and scanning practice. To skim, read first sentence of each paragraph. I will need you to practice this during this week as you go in, amidst your activities and all. Create some time to practice this reading test. And what I want you to do is when you skim, you're going to read first sentence of each paragraph, not everything. First sentence of each paragraph. And then when you scan, you're going to look for names, dates, numbers, things that are specific. Location, yes, things that are specific. Those are the things you scan for. But to skim, you read the first sentence of each paragraph. What I'm saying in essence is when you're skimming and scanning, you do not read the whole paragraph. At times, you don't need the whole information. Your answer could just be in the last line, in the middle. So you're expected to skim through and scan through for those answers. Then remember to use keywords to locate your answers quickly. Use keywords to locate your answers quickly. And just before we continue, I would like to remind you that at Star Language Academy, we are actually taking students, we take them through this IELTS test, we prepare them, and we have good testimonies. We have Our results actually speak for us. We have good testimony. It is individualistic, meaning it is planned according to each student, and your strength would be magnified. Your weakness would also be worked on. So it's important, if you would like to be a part of these trainings, please just leave a message or in the comment section, or you can write us at starlanguagearts@yahoo.com. We look forward to hearing from you, and we want to journey with you. We really want to journey with you. We want you to tell a good story of a very good score, you know, and we want to be part of that story. So give us a chance to put a smile on your face by helping you, you know, strengthening you, building you to ace your goals when it comes to IELTS tests. Now we're going to do a keyword hunt activity. A keyword hunt. All you're expected to do is read the passage and quickly note or highlight keywords like names, dates, numbers, and specific terms. You have 3 minutes. Remember what I said about being on the clock. It's actually important that you're putting yourself on the clock. Now, send your answers in the comment section. So tell me the dates, the numbers, the names, and some specific terms. These are the answers, but I'm not expecting you to come to this slide until you're done with the previous one. Be sure to put yourself on the clock and do not cheat the clock. Okay, so true, false, not given. Let's talk about what this means. It is true when it matches the information in the passage, not when it is your opinion, not when you think so, but when it matches the information supplied in the passage, not by assumption. The information is actually in the passage. It is false when it contradicts the passage. The information contradicts the passage, and it is not given when it is not mentioned at all. The information cannot be found in the passage. Please do not use prior knowledge. Remember, this is about the passage. Do not use prior knowledge. Focus on the passage. So here is another activity to actually test what we just learned about T, F, and NG. By that I mean true, false, and not given. So I will need you to take some time on this and be sure to do it diligently. Be diligent. Be diligent, because diligence will definitely pay off. Trust me, it will pay off. So be diligent. And after that, you can go to the next slide to check your answers. How many did you get right? I'd love to hear from you. Top 5 mistakes to avoid when you're going through your IELTS reading test. Number 1, do not read slowly. Most persons read by touching the letters, either with a pen or a pencil, or whatever it is they have at their disposal at that time. Some people read word for word. Some people read out loud. Please do not do that. Those are actually bad reading habits. Don't do them. Don't read too slowly. Do not panic under pressure. Do not panic. Stay above. You have to stay above the situation. Stay above. Do not panic. Manage your time wisely. Please, please, please. Remember what I started with: speed and accuracy. So manage your time wisely. It is of no use if you run out of time and then you knew the answers, but you ran out of time and you couldn't supply those answers. I mean, it's of no use. So please manage your time wisely, and do not forget maximum of 20 minutes in a section. 20 minutes in a section. Misreading instructions. Now, the moment you misread your instructions, you already know that failure is inevitable. I mean, how else should we say it? You were told to do A, you did B. How do you want to come out with a band 8 that way? So please pay attention to your instructions and be conscious of the times that you're moving into another section of the part of the test. There might be a different instruction. You have to pay attention to that. Don't just roll it over and say, oh, I read the instruction when I started. You want that same instruction to run through. No, be conscious of your instructions. And number 5, do not ignore question keywords. There are question keywords that ought to help you save time and answer accurately. Do not ignore those question keywords. Now, here is the final challenge, and this is the activity we're going to be having, is a passage on the history of paper, how paper came to be. And yeah, this is a passage, so you're expected to do this and supply answers to these questions. And I hope you're taking some time. If you ask me, I'll say do this in 20 minutes. In 5 minutes. I meant 5 minutes. I meant 5 minutes, please. You can't do this. You shouldn't do this in 20 minutes. In 5 minutes. Put yourself on the clock. 5 minutes. So, in fact, if I scan, I'm going to skim through the first paragraph, and I already found a name. Official name Kailon. And then I go to my question and I see who is credited with the invention of paper. My answer is right there. But let me not do that. So I'm going to expect your answer. Just share your experience with me and let me know if there's something else you would like to hear from me. Now, these are the answers, and yeah, I'll see you next week. I said we're going to be doing this for a long period of time. So I'm going to see you next week. But while you're at it, I'll need you to please tell me if there are specifics that you would like me to teach you, something you want me to bring on this channel so we can talk about, something you want to be, you want to learn, you want to get a hang of it, you want to understand it, you want to do better, maybe a part of the test that is actually challenging. And it doesn't have to be the reading aspect alone, it could be any of the skills. So reach out to me, leave a comment, and I'll read from you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Till then, do not stop practicing, and don't forget, you can actually achieve your band score. It is possible, it's within reach. You just need to do more.